Welcome back. So today we are doing part two of I postponed my real life wedding series. So I'm throwing myself a wedding in The Sims. So today we're working on the wedding venue. So we're here in, I believe it's Magnolia Blossom, which is a base game park. And we're going to first kind of remodel the park, but then set it up as a wedding venue. So here I am just looking through the debug menu a little bit. I wanted to find a pond. So here I am pulling all the debug ponds and then deciding which one I like. I can't remember if it's actually debug or if it's the other menu. I opened them both at once, so it's one of them. And here I am putting a fountain in the pond, which I really liked. I feel like, I don't know, where I grew up, that happened all the time. Like they would have these little man-made ponds and then there'd be fountains in the middle. So I like it. So here I am just kind of pulling some of the things I want in the park. So I knew I wanted, there's a fountain in this park like this one. It might actually be this one um, in the actual EA build. And so I knew I wanted something like that. And then pulling out the benches, kind of working my way through the requirements. Um, it's a big lot, so you need a lot of stuff. And so I just wanted to have some of those things pulled out already. So I really kind of struggled with this. You'll see me, I get like several minutes into making it, and then I redo my whole layout. I actually had to even like get off camera. Like I was struggle bussing. Here I am thinking I'm gonna place these bathrooms. I end up building the bathroom area to be really similar to what the bathroom was beforehand, like a little octagonal building. Looks kind of like a gazebo, but I feel like it gives good park vibes. So here I am futzing with that. I always struggle with expanding these in a way that like works. So these will be the bathrooms. And I do actually really like how they come out. The roof's a little weird, but for the most part, I feel like it works. Um, and it gives good park vibes. I really wish we could put stairs on an angle. I don't super understand the logic of why we can't. I know it has something to do with the animation and whatever, but I wish we could do it, man. So we end up, so most of this is just us editing a park to be like a park that I enjoy. And I thought about just pulling one off the gallery, but this seemed like fun. And I love all the pink trees here. Like this is like a really pretty area. I think we're in, not Newcrest. I don't know, it'll come to me. But it is a really pretty area and like the background is nice. I don't know. I think this is going to be a really nice park. And I wanted it to have kind of like put together park vibes, like not like open field vibes or like country wedding vibes, but like pretty whimsical garden park kind of vibes. So, love that for us. So here we are just making some bathroom stalls. I ended up just putting the siding inside because I feel like in public bathrooms, like it's not like they're real fancy, right? Like it's just, it kind of like is what it is. That one stall ended up real big even after I moved everything over. But that's just, the way the cookie crumbles. So here we are putting some toilet paper in, adding some sinks. I do like this bathroom a lot. I think it's a cute space. I hardly ever build with octagonal rooms because they're a struggle bus, but I'm glad we did. So here I am trying to like path everything out and I end up ditching this whole plan. Like I get it all built in, I get it all fenced out here in the next couple minutes and then we just totally ditch it. But I do like I feel like we get what I'm going for here with like the brick paths and I don't know, kind of like a more formal garden kind of vibe. With a fountain right in the middle. It is pretty and I like the red brick. I do think it adds something. I don't think we end up sticking with the red brick. I can't remember for sure though. I think we end up going with more of like a white brick. I had the hardest time deciding where to put the chess section because you have to have one if you're going to label the lot as a park. You have to have chess tables or at least one, um, as well as some playground equipment, which I don't know. I really like the monkey bars that came with, is it Romantic Garden stuff? With all the flowers that we see here. I really love those. I think they're so cute and like they work in this kind of a park. They make the park look more adult, I think. Like maybe it used to be a kids park and it's a little overgrown. I also really love these fences and I end up using these just not quite in this swatch, I don't think. So here I am futzing with this. I end up in the final floor plan, if you will, outlining the whole park, and I think that helped. Like I think that's part of why I struggled with this so much is it felt like it needed more fencing, but at the same time much less fencing. I'm really like trying. Okay, so here I've jumped back and I've redone things. So I did switch to a white brick. I do have this same fencing but in a different swatch, and I did outline the entire lot with it, and I think that helped. I think this layout works a lot better. So we do end up keeping the kids area up front there. We made them a sandbox, which you do just by using the sand terrain paint and then fence it out or whatever if you want to just like landscape it out. But you can make sand castles and all that fun stuff there, and I think that's a really cute touch. So anywhere there's sand, you can do that. So I like doing that on a lot of my lots. It's like a fun kids activity, but like when you're doing like legacy challenge or things where you're super poor in the beginning, you can use it, and it's like other than the cost of the fencing, it's pretty much free because it's terrain paint. So that's awesome. So here we are adding some flowers back. I try to put some flowers by every tree because before we bulldozed this lot, that's kind of what it had is like lots of florals and leafy greens and just very pretty gardeny type flowers. I don't know. So we do end up putting a path back to the bathrooms. Here I am adding some more flowers. These pink trees, I love anywhere these are. It reminds me of Sylvan Glade, like the Secret World. That's such a pretty lot to build on. It's just so little. But that would be kind of a fun, like, eloping with your Sims wedding kind of a vibe. I've said vibes so much in this video. Like, it's not great. Here we are drawing out some fencing. I didn't know what to do with this space over here, so I decided to just kind of give it its own little garden. I thought about filling it in all with these white flowers. I end up using like ground cover kind of flowers. We try a lot of things first. Yeah, so here we are. I just fill it out with some like ground cover flowers. My cat's coming to try to drink out of my like I have a bubbly water can, and he's like trying to pull my arm over so he can drink out of it. He's so weird about canned beverages. He loves them. Hopefully you can't hear him crying too loudly in this. So we end up just kind of landscaping that little patch here. I don't know. It just like it needed something over there and I didn't know what to put. I kind of like how it turned out though, with that sized up like bush thing, shrub. That's not the right thing, like a hedge. I don't know. Maybe that's not right either. But here we are adding some flowers to make the pond to make a little more sense. I think I end up using a little bit of terrain paint. Yeah, here we go with a little terrain paint around it too, just to kind of make it look a little more natural in this space. I really like the grass that's in this lot, which I know is like a silly thing to say, but like it has it looks so natural with like it has some dead spots and some patchy areas, and it looks really good, and it makes it really easy to terrain paint because it's not like that stark green that's on a lot of the base game lots, just that stark bright green, and it's like, well, what do I do with this now? So having those like patches, I feel like makes it look so nice. So I decided to add some vending stations, which I don't think we'll utilize for like the wedding portion, but I think they're cute for like a park. And again, we like needed something over here, and I didn't want this to be like an overrun kids park, right? So like I didn't want to add more playground equipment. I wanted to just have the little kids section. So here we are. I'm adding a little more landscaping in the back. Putting in some more flowers. I love all the romantic garden flowers, other than the ones shaped like cones. I never know how to use those. I don't know. I struggle. So now we're going to actually set up our wedding venue. So we're adding a wedding arch. We're going to add some beautiful chairs. I did end up changing the colors. If you watched my last video, I talk about my colors being like a bright purple. So I use this wedding arch, so I end up changing my bridesmaids to like a light pink. I tried so freaking hard to find blue dresses that would match the blue ribbon on that wedding arch. Like I even like looked through so many like CC bridesmaid dresses and things like that. I had a really hard time finding CC bridesmaid dresses that were that color and Max's match, so I ended up going with pink instead. And back here I decided to add a stage. I thought it would make the wedding venue part more fun, but also like parks near where I grew up. So like I grew up in the Midwest, and like I feel like it's not totally uncommon to have a stage at a park as like a public area. So we are gonna add some instruments and stuff, make it look a little more complete because when we set up my wedding event in The Sims, we did, I think, put down for an entertainer. So they should come utilize that, I assume. We're gonna terrain paint around it. I'm so excited for when this bug gets fixed in the new patch. Like I can't wait to be able to terrain paint and landscape right up next to buildings and trees and things. So I decide to add a couple more instruments, and then we're gonna put down a dance floor for the wedding. Like I just think this came out so cute and it'll be such a good place to host weddings. I think I'll use this lot again for like other sim saves. I futz around with having some lights, and actually the lights do snap perfectly around this dance floor, but I just decided in the grand scheme of the park it looked a little funny, so I do end up just putting some together to go um, with the stage, and then, yeah, making a column so they look like they make sense. I futzed around with the idea of having some lanterns on the ground, but I decided that was too much. So then we're just adding some park lights. I think I end up going with a different one, like all of the like rows of twos looked too like visually too much for me, but I like these with the hanging baskets. I'm not sure. I think these might be debug, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Yeah, I really wanted to do some hanging lights. I'm adding some more chairs here, not because we're having more guests, but just because I felt like we needed to visually fill the space a little better. So then I mess around for what felt like forever trying to decide what to do for like a sitting area over here. Like I just so I'm adding some little tables for like cake and presents and that kind of stuff, right? Um, but then I messed around forever trying to figure out what kind of like dining tables I wanted over here. We end up using some yard tables. Um, and just like going with the tables that we already put in the park. I couldn't decide about these flowers. I think I ended up deleting them. They looked a little too like susical, like I don't know, a little too cartoony or something. Which it's The Sims, but I don't know. It just wasn't right for this. So these are the tables we end up going with. I put some flowers on every table. I'll have my sim do some like gourmet cooking and make like a tiered cake and some gourmet food to put on the tables. And this is the final product. Thank you guys so much for watching.